Hello and welcome to a nice short practice. We'll just target the entire body opening up and just have a lovely little flow together. So let's start in a seated position and let's shut down the eyes pretty immediately. As you get established into the seat, start to soften through the shoulders, soften through the jaw. Let the eyes be just effortlessly closed. And let your attention condense into your body. So heightening sensation in your body, reducing analysis, and starting to shift your perspective and attitude to start to almost be a little bit more caring for the body. And so there's this practice of attitude throughout the practice that becomes infused into each and every action that you do. And at the heart of that, there's compassion. And so cultivating that feeling of compassion, empathy, love for the body, and ultimately a sense of well-being. And with that in mind, take your attention to your breath and start to very slowly, very gently deepen and reduce the pace of your breath. So slow your breathing down. But notice that you can do this with a quality, this quality of gentleness, this deep sense of attention. And as you're expanding your breath through the body, there's a sense of activation, but also a great sense of ease. We're just going to take a few more of these breaths, not very long at all. Imagine you're saturating your body with not only oxygen, but with a deep sense of energy. An energy that penetrates every single cell in your body. And let's keep a good part of your attention centered on the way that you breathe, fundamentally slowing it down and infusing that with a sense of compassion. And let's start to move the body. Go ahead and open your eyes and raise up the arms towards the ceiling. Nice big breath in at the top, and then twisting to your right. So the right hand behind your lower back, left hand catching the thigh or the knee. Prop the chest up and rotate through the shoulders. Kind of drawing the shoulder blades back and down just a little bit. We'll just take one more big breath here. And then raise both arms up towards the ceiling once again. Keep the spine really lifted as you twist the other direction. Again, just a little draw back on the shoulders, shoulder blades, bit of activation into what's known as the rhomboids, muscles between the shoulders. Last breath here. Inhale, arms up, big breath in, and let's come into cat-cow. So roll over your knees, find tabletop position, and get stuck straight into it. Taking an inhale to press the belly down towards the floor, and then an exhale to arch and really raise up through the spine. And then finding one breath to one movement. Inhale to dip, exhale to arch. You know, nice little cycle of movement going. Getting three main areas moving. Your tailbone or your pelvis kind of area, tilting up and down or forward and back. Your spine moving very dynamically. And then your shoulder blades. These are three main areas. We'll just take maybe 2 more rounds of movement there. Feel free to make it a little bit more dynamic and playful, a bit more explorative, and you got this sense of inquiry into the body. One more big round of breath. Inhale to exhale. Get things moving. And then a very brief stop in puppy pose. So don't push it, don't go too far, but keep your hips above your knees. Walk your hands out. Now really concentrate on your shoulder blades. Let them soften and sink. So not trying to pick up your shoulder blades, but let them sink down as you drop your chest down. Once you're into the shape, let the middle of your back sink. Just 2 or 3 breaths here. And And then gently walking the hands back and coming up into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift up the hips. Get the legs moving, let them open up a little bit. Take a good 2 or 3 breaths here, just sort of getting the feel for what's going on in your calves and your hamstrings, the whole back chain of the body really, up the legs, into the lower back, through the mid back and into the shoulders. Notice these areas connecting to each other now. We take just one more big breath. And then concentrate on pressing your fingers into the floor, kind of like you're gripping a tennis ball or something. Keep the hands active and come into high plank. Bring the shoulders above your wrists. And then send it back into downward facing dog. 2 more of these. As you come into high plank, really try and round your upper back. Back to down dog. Last one. This time, come into high plank. Lower your knees to the floor and lower the whole body down until you're flat. Just a few rounds of rolling cobra. Inhale to lift up your chest. Exhale to lower back down. 1 breath to 1 movement. Keep the knees straight, the feet pointed. Couple more rounds. Do try and press your pelvis and your thighs into the floor. So they're actively pressing down. Let's go 2 more rounds. Up and down. Nice and open through the chest through this process. Shoulder blades back. Last one. And as the chest comes down, either do a push-up or come back through tabletop and into down dog. And as soon as you hit that down dog, walking towards the top of your mat. As you arrive there, bend your knees and roll up your spine through to standing. Reach and stretch up nice and high, nice and tall. Now hands to prayer. We're going to try and roll back down through the spine. So tuck your chin to your chest, round your shoulders forward, round your upper back, mid back, lower back, bend your knees and dive towards the floor. But be really gentle, be really slow. Take an inhale to halfway lift, flatten your back out. And again, fold back in, bend the knees, roll up the spine. So we're curling through the spine. Reach up and stretch up at the top. This time, suck your belly in and fold forward. Come all the way down. Halfway lift, flatten out your back. Go ahead and step your left foot back. 1 breath in runner's lunge. Puff the chest forward, sink the hips a little deeper. And then step back into downward facing dog to lift up your hips. Straight into high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Bend your elbows. Inhale, up dog, chest pulls through. Exhale to down dog, hips up. 1 big breath there. Inhale to raise your left leg up towards the ceiling. Kick it nice and high. Exhale to step that foot in between the hands. Puff the chest forward on fingertips, sink the hips. And then simply step up, feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Stand tall, reach up, big breath in. Belly tight. Weight in the toes, fold forward, come in. Halfway lift, flatten the back, step your right foot back, sink the hips, lift the collarbones, 1 breath. Step back into down dog, we look for the flow. Inhale, high plank, come forward. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, chest through, shoulders back. Down dog, hips up. 1 big breath. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step it on through. Puff the chest forward, sink the hips. Step up to the top. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades back. Exhale to fold again. Stand tall, reach up, squeeze your glutes at the top. Suck the belly in and fold again. It's going to change there. Halfway lift. Step your left foot back and keep the knee at the back very straight. Raise your right hand up towards the ceiling and twist. In this shape, notice that your front knee is above the ankle and sink the hips a little extra. Keep the back leg really straight, really strong, and rotate your bottom shoulder, your left shoulder, in towards the knee for just 1 more big breath here. Keep the twisting action on the arms. Lower the back knee to the floor. Take the hand off the floor and reach it up for the ceiling. Right hand to your lower back or maybe down the thigh, but start to lift through the ribs and the chest, although sink through your left shoulder blade. So shoulder down, ribs up. We take just 2 more good breaths, sinking the hips maybe a little further forward, but belly in. One more big breath. And then starting to straighten through the front leg as the hands plant to the floor into half Hanuman. Feel free to adjust your stance a little if you need, but try and lift the front ball of the foot. We're only going to stay here for 2 or 3 breaths. Bring a little bit of softness through the shoulders. Let the right hip settle down. And we just take one more big breath here. Go ahead and bring your right hand inside the leg, inside the shin. Pivot on your back knee. So now you're going to face the left-hand side of your mat and raise up the arms, and we'll look for gate pose. So make little adjustments. Foot in line with knee. Raise up the arms. And then right hand to right knee towards the top of the mat. Left hand reaching over. Press the pelvis forward. Squeeze your glutes. Lean into a nice big side bend here. And take 2 more big breaths. Really try and fill up the side body rib cage. Next inhale, lift the chest up. Place the left hand down at the back of the mat. Right hand raising up. Now stick with me here. Pick up your left knee off the floor and tap it into the elbow. Take 1 more big breath here. And as your right hand comes down, either find side plank or flip that left leg into wild thing. Turn the hips over, rotate the chest, lift through the heart. Take another big breath here. And in one big step, left foot outside your left hand, stepping to the back, or now the new top of the mat, right foot to the top right corner, and sit the hips down into a bit of a squat. Chest up, malasana, belly in. 2 big breaths. Release. 2 hands to the floor, a step or jump back through our flow into chaturanga. Inhale finds up dog. Exhale through to downward facing. 1 more big breath here. Now we are facing the back of the mat. All good there. 1 more big breath in down dog. And then a walk, step or jump to the top. Feet towards the hands. Halfway lift as you get there. Exhale to fold again. Stand tall, reach up, big breath. Exhale to fold straight back in, hands to the floor. Halfway lift, and now your right foot stepping back. Again, back leg really strong. Sink the hips and raise your left hand up into a twist. So really want to keep that back leg as strong and stiff as possible to prevent the hips from moving and rotating. And then find all of the twist in the upper spine through the shoulder region. We'll just take 1 more big breath here, maybe 2. And then back knee to the floor. Keep the twist, take the hand off the floor and reach it up towards the ceiling. So it's less about the twist once you're into the lunge. It's more about the lift of your ribs coming away from your hips. Find length in the right hand side of your body. Take breath and sink the hips a little bit here. Keep your backside tight, your right glute is squeezing. Another big breath to go. Half Hanuman. 2 hands to the floor, starting to straighten through your left leg and fold in. So a little bit of settling on your left hip. Sometimes it's nice to halfway lift and really pick up the belly and then almost slide it further down the thigh for the last couple of big breaths here. Front foot lifted, left hip sinking. Last big breath. All right. Left hand inside the left leg. We're pivoting. Turn to the right hand side of the mat or back to the side of the mat where we were. Adjust yourself as you need. Left leg straight, arms up. And then left hand to left knee. Right hand reaches up and over. Nice big side bend. Holding. Good couple of breaths. Find lift in the side body here. Not just going for the foot, but up towards the ceiling. Another big breath. Squeeze your backside. Inhale, lift out. Right hand plants to the floor. Supported side plank here briefly. Left hand up. Go ahead, do your best. Tap the right knee to the right elbow. Pick it up, pull it in, hold, big breath. Left hand down. Flip that right leg into wild thing. Turn the hips over. Right hand raises up. Lift the heart, lift the chest. Holding, breathing. 1 more big breath. Stepping to a squat. Right foot to the top right corner. Left foot to the top, left corner, and sit the hips down. Chest up, belly in. Couple of good breaths here. Now we know it's early days in the practice. We're kind of just getting warmed up, but I think there's a fair bit of heat in the body. If you did want to take crow into your flow, now's your time. This is a slightly shorter practice, so you're welcome to, but at your discretion, be gentle. Err on the side of caution though. Hands to the floor if you're going for it. Hips up, heels up, knees in, shift body weight forward. Again, that gripping of the fingers into the floor like you got a couple of tennis balls in the hands. Another big breath. And then as you're ready, a step or jump back into chaturanga. Inhale finds up dog. Exhale, down dog. One big breath as we take a pit stop here. Inhale, right leg raises up. Exhale to step that foot in between the hands. Inhale, puff the chest forward on fingertips. And exhale to straighten the front leg and fold. 2 more of these. Inhale to lunge. Exhale back to the fold. Last one. Inhale, lunge. Exhale and fold. This time, step up to the top of the mat, feet together. Chair pose. Bend the knees, sink the hips, arms up. Big breath in. Hands to prayer as you stand all the way up. Straighten your legs. Sweep the arms out. Reach up. Big breath. Little back bend. Back into chair to twist to your right. Hook the elbow around the knee. Sink the hips down. And now take your time here. Pull the belly in a little bit. Pick up your left foot. Try and kick that leg back and linger for a tick as you step into your twisted lunge. Holding. Sink the hips and yet lift the chest. Rotate. Another 2 big breaths. Now really try and keep the front knee absolutely still. Crescent lunge. Arms up. Big breath in. Warrior 2. Turn the back heel down. Open the arms. Straighten your front leg and reach up. Big breath in. Back through warrior 2 to side angle. Elbow to knee or hand to the floor. Extended variation. Reaching the left arm up over the head. Drop your left shoulder blade down and turn the chest up towards the ceiling. We'll take 2 more big breaths here. Keep the power in the back leg. Counterweight for all of that body weight coming forward. 1 more big breath. Inhale, up through warrior 2. Again, straighten through the front leg. Reach up and back to a T shape with your arms. Might want to shorten up the stance for triangle, but plant the front big toe. Let the hips sink back. Right hand down and left hand up. Holding and breathing. A little bit of a drop on the left shoulder. Easy breathing. 2 or 3 more breaths here. Plant the front big toe, belly in. Front thigh is squeezing, back thigh is squeezing. Another big breath, last one. And as your left hand comes to the floor, sink your hips to the back of the mat into Skandasana. Turning the foot back, adjust the stance, chest up, belly in. Holding. So from here, a little bit of a challenge to come into half moon. Now I've got a bit of a hot tip for you. Stay low with your center of gravity, hips staying low. And as you walk your hands towards the top of the mat, right hand's going to go in front of the foot and left hand out to the side, just like a tripod. 1 foot, 2 hands. I'll give you a little visual, but you can give it 2 or 3 cracks if you want to. So as you lunge in, plant the hands and foot's there. And then slowly make your way up to raise a left arm up. Back leg absolutely stiff and strong. Take your time with it. Maybe the cherry on top is bringing the right hand to the heart center and lifting the chest a little. Try and create space where you feel the compression in your right hip. So lift through the belly space, get longer. Back leg is absolutely stiff here. Take another big breath. Runner's lunge. Hands down, step the back foot back and find a 3-legged dog. Leg lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, tilt the hips. Stick with me here. Come into high plank, bring the shoulders above the wrists, and then slowly flip it into wild thing. Rotate the right leg over. Lift the chest, lift the hips. Another big breath. Same thing, back into the squat. Right foot to the top right corner, left foot to the top left corner, and sit the hips down nice and low. Chest up, belly in. One more big breath here. We got this squat. We got another squat to come after we do the next sequence. Welcome to take the crows. Welcome to skip them. Might be too many crows. You feel it out. I'm going to skip this one. One more big breath wherever you might be though. And then 2 hands plant, a step or jump back. Chaturanga finds up dog, finds down dog. Another big breath. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it on through. Left foot in between the hands. Puff the chest forward on fingertips. Exhale, gently straighten through the front leg and fold. 2 more of these. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, back to the fold. Last one. Inhale, lunge. Exhale and fold. Step up to the top, feet together. Chair, bend the knees, sink the hips, arms up, belly in, shoulders down. One more big breath. As you stand up, draw the hands to prayer. Sweep the arms out, reach up, little back bend. Chair again, bend the knees, sink the hips, turn the chest to the left and hook the elbow around the knee. Sink the hips down. One more big breath here. Pick up your right foot and go slow. Right foot up. Kick it back and linger for a sec. And step. Foot down. Sink the hips and lift the chest. Holding, rotating, back knee. Absolutely strong here. 2 more big breaths. All right, front knee stays absolutely still. Come up into crescent lunge. Warrior 2, watch that front knee. Keep it out. Straighten through the front leg and reach up and back. Back through Warrior 2 to side angle. Either elbow to knee, hand to the floor if you like to. Top arm reaching over the head. Really try and keep that counterweight of your back leg strong. Holding. Turn the chest towards the ceiling. Holding. 2 more big breaths. Sink into your left sitting bone. 1 more big breath. Inhale, lift the chest, straighten through the front leg and reach up. Big breath here. Back to a T shape on the arms. Might want to shorten up the stance for triangle, but plant the front big toe. Let the hips sink back. Left hand down, right hand up. Holding, breathing. So we've got this nice balance of activation in the muscles, and yet there's a stretchiness happening at the same time. Another breath or so. Right hand comes down, turn the back foot back and sink into Skandasana. Hips to the back heel into the right leg, chest up. Good 2 or 3 breaths, want to settle into the shape. Bit of strength in the left thigh there, protect the knee joint. Another big breath. So we're on our way towards half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Find that tripod, plant the foot, hands out to the side, or right hand out to the side, and then get the back leg stiff as soon as you can, and let's do it. Walk the hands, stay low, kick. Establish your balance there, and then start to lift the hip a little. Raise the right hand up. Don't worry about lifting the top hip too much. Just keep a sense of buoyancy through your core, belly in. And then maybe left hand wants to lift towards heart center. Holding, breathing. Really, it's that back leg that's doing majority of the work here. Keep it kicking. The glute is working. Heel is lifting. Holding. There's an upward lifting feeling here through the whole body. Resist the force of gravity. Holding. 2 more big breaths. And then we want a gentle landing into runner's lunge. Hands down, foot steps back and down. 3-legged dog. Front foot lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip. Stick with me. Come into high plank. Once the shoulders are above the wrists, then flip it into wild thing gently. Lift through the heart. Open the chest. Another big breath here. Last time we take the squat. Left foot to the top left corner. Right foot to the top right corner. Sitting the hips down. Chest up, belly in. So a couple of choices here. Welcome to take the crow again. Welcome to come through a flow, or come with me immediately down onto the back. Now, if you wanted to take your flow or do your crow, let's just meet on the back after that. I'm going to skip all that business. Hands behind, plonk the hips, and roll down onto the back, onto the floor. Once you're there, take the feet as wide as your mat and drop the knees a couple of times from left to right, from side to side. And then we'll come through just one round of bridge. Welcome to bring it up into wheel. You feel out the kind of heat levels in your body. But as you tuck your tail, pick it up off the floor, belly sucks in, lift the hips, holding. If you wanted to take it to wheel, hands next to the head and press the chest up and back. Breathing. We take about 3 or 4 more good breaths, but glutes squeezing, belly in, get this kind of sandwiching action on your lower back. And then the back of the heart lifts a little higher for just one more big breath. Release. Come on down nice and slow. Drop the knees a couple of times from side to side, left to right. Draw the right knee in towards your chest, kick your left leg out long, and then head into a twist. Take that right leg over to the left-hand side of your mat. Open out your right shoulder. Nice long, easy exhalations here. Two or three more to go. Next inhale, back up through the center. Knees coming in towards the chest. And then take yourself onto the other side of that twist. So as your left leg comes in, guide it across. You might want to scooch your hips a bit more underneath you. Open out your left shoulder. And then a deep release into your belly space as you exhale. Nice and soft through your midsection, so you're physically allowing for that twistiness to happen through the sort of abdominal space. We look to rotate the left-hand side of the rib cage down towards the floor. So it's not only the left shoulder blade sinking, but also the entire rib cage sinking and settling down towards the floor. We'll just give this maybe 2 more, maybe 3 more big breaths. Super empty on the exhalation here, super empty. Next inhale, knees back through center, hug them in towards your chest, and then rock your way up to a seated position as you're ready. As you arrive in that seated position, we'll come towards a little bit of a variation on a figure 4 shape. So in a seated position here, you might just want to loosen off a little bit, do what you need. But hands behind you, place your right ankle up on top of your left knee there, and flex through the ankle. So pull the toes back towards the knee, and then close up the distance of everything. So as your hands walk in towards your lower back, walk your bum in towards your left heel, and sort of get as tall and lifted as you can through your lower back without your sitting bones coming off the floor. So this is a nice shape to be in. This might be just enough. If you did want a little bit extra here, cradle the baby. You take that right foot and place it into the crease of your left elbow, taking a hold of the shin. And as tricky as it is, we're looking for the lower back to be super lifted up here. And the foot coming up high. So really try and squeeze as well, like you're compressing your shin in a compactor or something like that. Really squeeze it. So it's driving the shin bone up into the knee and keeping that joint fairly protected in this kind of twisting action here. And so we want height, lower back lifted, front foot lifted, feel solid, holding just 2 or 3 breaths here. Last one, big breath. And then release. Release that leg to the floor. 2 feet on the floor for a moment, side by side. Reverse tabletop, hands behind your hips, roll back the shoulders. Lift. 2 more big breaths right there. Release, and we do it to the other side. So left ankle to the right knee. Stack it up. Draw it in. Walking the hands in a little bit there. Prop yourself up nice and high, nice and tall. And it might come in stages, you know. We spend a little bit of time here. Then you think about cradling the baby. We want to give it a bit of a hold so that this shape, the form, kind of bakes into the body. We've got 2 ways of opening and conditioning the body. We can do it with repetition, so maybe slightly quicker movements, more dynamic movements, but under repetition. And I guess that's what we do in the more dynamic aspect of this practice just a few moments ago. And then as we get down towards the floor, we go the other direction, slightly longer holds. Either way, it's time under load, time in the form, time to bake in. And so we want it to consolidate and solidify. So give it some time and find some breath with it. Let that be a kind of governing factor over the entire experience of the posture. It's governing the whole mood and the attitude. You're keeping a level of mental involvement with your body. But more than that, since the mind is involved, we want intention, quality of mood to be there as well. And fundamentally, you're looking after your body. Compassion, empathy, love is there for the body, even though we challenge it just a little. We put it into a slightly uncomfortable position, and we keep the mindset of compassion. Another few big breaths. Holding, breathing, staying. Last one, big breath. 2 feet to the floor, reverse tabletop. Hands behind you, turn the hands out a little bit, roll back the shoulders, lift the hips, squeeze through your backside, belly in, push the chest up through the shoulders. Another big breath here. Release, come on down. Walk your sitting bones back underneath you, and we'll come towards a straight forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So feet lifted, a little bit of space between the feet is all right, or the big toe mounds, like the inside of your big toe, kind of touching, lifting the chest, pinky toes pull back, and then as you suck your belly in to sort of send your hips back, extend the chest and the spine forward as you fold. So there's a hinge that's coming from the hip, not your mid back or upper back, even though that'll start to curve at some point. But that initial phase of folding in comes from the hinge at the hips. Prioritize that. And then once you're in, little bit of softness. Not only physically, but mentally too. I think this shape, sometimes we try and strain a little bit much. I see it a lot. So don't worry about the aesthetic. Don't worry about trying to touch the toes if it's not quite there. Just work with the sensation in your body. We want that deep sense of understanding and looking after the body through this whole process. This isn't about determination. This is more about affection. 5 more breaths here, steady and slow. Keep the back body rib cage expanding and moving with your breath. Last 2 big breaths. Next inhale, chest lifts up, scooch the hips forward, roll down onto your back. As soon as you're there, either take happy baby or simply lifting the legs up towards the ceiling. If you did want to bring it up into shoulder stand, you're welcome to. But I think it can be just nice to lift the legs and get more of a soft inversion here, meaning the body's not really working too hard to maintain the posture, but we get all the benefits of the inversion nonetheless. Nice feeling through the legs. You're welcome to slide your hands underneath your hips as I have. Relax the belly space as much as you can. We take just a good 5 big breaths here. We're really nearly at Savasana. To follow this, we will be. And so almost set the mood of Savasana now in this posture. Last 2 or 3 breaths, maybe a little bit longer. If you're in shoulder stand, make your way out very gently. If you need a counter pose like fish or a twist or just a windscreen wipe of your knees, absolutely feel free. And I guess that goes for all of us. Do anything that you need to organize your body for a rest into Savasana. As you're ready, let's come on down. We let everything settle, release, and relax. No control over your breathing. We take a little step back from engaging with the body. We take a little step back from engaging with the mind. Even though the mind will carry on doing whatever business it's interested in. Try not to add fuel to the fire. So no engagement with whatever happens mentally or physically. Let it come. It'll stick around for a little bit and eventually it'll go. We try and bear witness to the moment and not much more than that. Give yourself a few moments here simply to settle into stillness. Nice deep breath in. Shift your attention out. Wriggle, stretch, move. Awaken the body through gentle movements. Welcome to turn off to a side and take a moment or two there. But as you're ready, up to a seated position. We take the hands to prayer at heart center. We bring a moment of appreciation and thanks to mind, a deep level of gratitude, especially to yourself. Recognize these gestures and activities that you do to take care of yourself. Give yourself, some level of gratitude for that. Give yourself a level of thanks and appreciation. Document this moment. Fill up with that feeling. And it's with that very feeling in mind that we take a humble bow of the head and say, Namaste. Better. Thank you. Always a pleasure to guide you through these practices. Thank you so much for your support. It really is appreciated. I recognize and see it all. So big love, big thanks, and see you soon.